donations. At the end he would say, "Give me your money and you will be blessed." And there's this one guy who wrote the book about nothing in his book is true, but it's exactly the way things are. He goes, "I only had like $35. I paid $15 to get in." At the end, he's got a line of people there that he's just saying, you know, "I'm not promising you anything. Just give me money and you will be blessed." And he said, "I found myself standing in this line with my last $20 bill, you know, and worked out well though. He's a published author now. He ended up meeting Leonard Orr and traveling with him on a trip around Europe and everything like that. And so it turned out for him it was true. So put money in that basket. I don't need a chair for this.
I don't have it.
Okay. All right. Nadia, I'm going back to reading one poem that's not by myself.
That sounds good.
And in this case, I was just talking with Josh, who is just coming in, about learning Chinese. And so I'm going to choose a Chinese poet, even though it's written in English. But this is the Vintage Book of Contemporary World Poetry. It's about 3 or 4 years out of date, but still kind of see, okay, what's rocking the world, you know, that we're not getting here in the United States. So this is by a poet who grew up during the Cultural Revolution and had to work in factories. She was, you know, banished to the countryside because her parents were accused of being rich and all that stuff, and then ended up now becoming. It's so interesting, you know, what China has been through. You know, I thought when you say the word China, or when I tell people the Chinese are coming, you know, what does that put in your mind? See, you say, ooh. To me, it means we're going to get a lot of tourism from China, you know. And so, but, you know, you say China, what do you think of? Ancient temples, Taoism, Confucianism? Or do you think of Maoism, you know, and the Cultural Revolution, and 70 million people died? You know, think of the people who grew up through that, who now are enterprising and want to do well. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. So anyway, this is a contemporary Chinese poet named Shu Ting, and it's called Maple Leaf. Here is a heart-shaped leaf, picked up by a gentle hand on a very special hillside at the edge of a special wood. It may not mean very much, this leaf with its trace of frost, but still the leaf reminds me of a twilight avenue, a mind crowded with thoughts, released on a gentle breath that scattered from my shoulders the rays of a setting sun. Again, on a special evening, that touch alights on me, having grown heavy with meaning. This time, I can't deny that intimacy. Now when the wind rises, I am prompted to turn my head and listen to you, leaf, as you quiver on your twig. So that's Shu Lin. And for my second poem, I thought, uh-oh, poetry reading tomorrow. This was about 11 o'clock at night last night. Haven't written a poem. So I thought, okay, well, let me see what thoughts come in my mind. And this is what came. Shrinking from the limelight through our onstage bows and our backstage bows. Do you know what a bow is? That bow is Chinese for hug. So, shrinking from the limelight through our onstage bows and our backstage bows, we crawl into cracks covered with crimson cockroaches. Now, driving down, I thought, maybe I should have had that be creeping crimson crickets. And as you'll see, this poem is psychological. So some people, when they withdraw from the limelight and go into the cracks in their mind, see cockroaches. Others see crickets. The smoking roaches, this is referring to the cockroaches, the smoking roaches played New Year's Eve at the Rex Club in Burney, but they were no longer crimson. That's true. Anyway, to return to the psychology of performance and the perfidy of practicing psychologists shrinking our entertainers' minds, and thus shrinking our cultural field, and thus shrinking our minds. The shrinks are shrinking us into their anal fantasies. We are all being shrinked. We are all shrinking and shriveling in the limelight.
Man, is that a shrink wrap?
Yeah, all right, that's a shrink wrap. We'll have to make it about 2 minutes longer and then shrink wrap it. Okay, then I wanted to just pick one poem at random from this book, since, you know, into the Oriental and the yin and the yang, and realizing that one aspect of yin and yang is random as opposed to order. So this is what it opened up to. It's not completely random because that's where the staples are. So I'm going to pick another one.
More random.
Yeah.
Dear boss, I won't be working anymore today, forever. I wrote this poem just before I stopped working, actually, about 11 years ago. Dear boss, I won't be working anymore today, forever. I can't stand the smell. I asked Mary, what's that smell? What smell? It smells like shit. Mary goes to the bathroom. I hear her banging her head on the bathroom wall. I have been reading dictionaries in search of meaning, drunk on words like saccharine, fawn, and floor. I had it all wrong. I lie awake on my bed. I have trouble waking up. Opening my eyes, I can't tell if it is night or day. I won't be working anymore today, forever.